Join me in welcoming Mrs. Vishaka Nanayakara, the senior lecturer in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at University of Moratuwa. She will be sharing her thoughts on entrepreneurship. It's over to you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's lovely to see some of you in the eve of a long weekend wanting to listen to this, wanting to be entrepreneurs. It's very encouraging. Coincidentally, I think both myself and Kirti are speaking to you not from Moratuwa, but from the Trace Expert City, which probably is a place where the young Sri Lankan entrepreneurs actually are very familiar with. I very happily sit inside a company called CodeGen, which resonates with what Sri Lankan entrepreneurs can do. A company started by Sri Lankans going into the world level. I always keep on reminding, Dr. Harsha Subhasinghe says, oh yes, I'm the Facebook in the travel industry. Because in the travel industry, they have a huge stake in similar to what Facebook is having perhaps in the social media. So this is what Sri Lanka can do, my dear children. This is what if we think about doing something different, if we innovate, you can do wonders. And today, if you look at the Sri Lankan IT landscape, there are multiple companies, there are multiple startups which started as startups in Sri Lanka, which have gone to the world arena. I mean, if we take our own MIT, which exited as because London Stock Exchange Group got that today. You talk about LSEG, but that was a company that started in Sri Lanka, making use of local talent, doing what they wanted to do in the financial sector. So nothing is impossible. I always keep on reminding people, I mean, be it a company like that, or be it something like Kirti Ayavya, who came up with a wonderful idea, the effective solutions, Danikaya's Bashalanka, all these are startups which came up proudly so from Mora Ventures, and came from Moratuwa graduates who were passionate enough to have an idea, spin it off to a company, and today at world level, I mean, I'm sure Kirti would be telling you how he started his company, how he went to the international markets and all that. So no idea is small. And we at Moratuwa keeps on saying we want to produce job creators, not job seekers. So that's because we want to help the economy, right? We talk about this. So there's tremendous, unlike good old days, there's tremendous lot of support if you want to start a company, if you want to take your innovative idea to the international level. There's a lot of support, lot of ecosystem is developed a lot. So what we at Moratuwa, through Mora Ventures, what we try to do is to encourage you, come up with that creative idea and show the world how you can really do this better. And I'm sure you are in for a wonderful session, wonderful discussion with Kirti. Thank you, Kirti, not only for always being part of Mora Ventures. I mean, the entrepreneurship club, which hosts this, was Kirti's idea. So I realized that he was going to be a successful entrepreneur with the way and effort that he put into establishing an entrepreneurship society at University of Moratuwa, where we managed to get this and we managed to do that. So after a break, after the COVID, you all are back at this, and I'm sure each and one of you would have an idea which can come to the Mora Ventures and which would show the world, which would show the potential investors that look here, this is what we are capable of. This is why you should invest in Sri Lankan startups and how to do that. So we will help you. We will tell you why it is important, how to do it, all that. But it is on your shoulders, my dear children, to do this and come up and do it. So with that, let me hand over the controls back to our computer for the day. Thank you and all the best. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you at the various stages of Mora Ventures judging and pitching and all that. So good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, madam. It was such an inspirational speech, and I would say you guys had a much kind of clearance about what we are going to do in Mora Ventures 6.0. So as per our gratitude and gratefulness, I kindly request you to, madam, accept our token of appreciation. Okay, guys. So now it's time to have another fruitful session. For that, we have a very special guest with us. Please welcome Mr. Kirti Kodituaku, the co-founder at Effective Solutions and Gender Innovations, to discuss the challenges and opportunities that come with building a successful business. It would be great to hear about his experiences and the lessons you have learned along the way. So I think our audience is very impatient to hear from you. So I cordially invite to you to share your ideas with us in this Mora Ventures 6.0 platform.
Okay, thank you, Jaini. I hope I'm audible enough. If you have any questions, please ask in the middle of the presentation or raise hand. So I'll be happy to answer. Okay. And all the club members and the organizing committee, thank you for inviting us. And I hope during today's session, I'll be able to give you a idea about how we organize Mora Ventures and what we are going to achieve with Mora Ventures and how we achieved our success during this journey. Okay. Jaini, is that clear, my voice and everything? So I didn't.
Yes, you're audible.
All right, fine. So let me share my screen. I think you are in screen sharing, so I cannot share at the moment. I have prepared a quick presentation for you guys, just to give you an idea. Okay. So during today's session, so we don't take much time, but we want to tell you a few important things about this entrepreneurial journey, right? So I think you are here because you are having some sort of idea about what is entrepreneurship and how to shape your career, right? In the next 5 to 10 years, right, of your life, right? So with the modern day context, I think you all know these superstars, right? So I have taken few examples here with their net worth, right? I think when we talk about entrepreneurs, we always talk about the capital, right? So the entrepreneurs are the people who manage capital, right? So people who can understand how we manage the human capital, how we manage the financial capital and achieve a greater success from that capital. So these are the people, individuals who achieve successes in the world, right? By understanding the global problems, right? So we want like individuals. Let's say we have more than 50 people today in this session. Let's assume at least one of you, right, have that kind of a dream, right, to understand a global problem first understanding the global problem and give a solution to that global problem and work on that implementation of that solution. I think those are the things that make your life a meaningful life, right? Even though you make money or not, you make a great impact to the world. So this is why we start an entrepreneurial journey. So if I repeat, right, if you are to start an entrepreneurial journey, don't think about the wealth you are going to create. You will definitely create a wealth, but focus on the problem you are addressing and the impact you are making to the society. So this is what you should take to your life, right? So if you are to set up a startup or set up a company or become an industry leader, you have to understand that. Okay. Let me draw your attention about a country like Sri Lanka. They have about half of the population as Sri Lanka. Country called Israel, right? So you know about this country, right? They own one of the most number of IPs in the world, right? They create solutions for the global problems, and they are a country. I mean, like they identified individuals from that country, and they, as a country, they had the national strategy to support them to achieve these global solutions. So with that, right, with that country focus, see what happened to that country, right? So with that 9 million to 10 million people in that country, they are making more than 400 billion US dollar revenue, right? GDP, right? To that country. So assume if Sri Lanka as a country, if we think in the same model, right? We don't want to government to come and help, right? We don't want government to push us forward, right? Governments can run their administrative operations, but as universities, as university students, we have the capacity, because we individuals, like I explained before, individuals can dream, individuals can understand these problems. So then individuals can team up as an organization and achieve these goals. So this is how we think about these, targets and going to achieve this. Now, with this, I'll share one of the story, right? So when I was doing my undergraduate studies, right, in University of Moratuwa, Vishaka madam told me that foundation of this entrepreneurial society. I'm going to share that story with you, right? So we wanted to, have this culture inside our university, because when we were undergraduate, our main priority was to focus on the studies, right? Even now also we should study, but you all know what is entrepreneurship is and how you going to benefit from the entrepreneurship, right? So with our batch, there was a transformation happened in University of Moratuwa. So in Moratuwa University, we got a chance to start a parallel minor degree for entrepreneurship, and with that there was some awareness in the university, right? And also some hype, right? So as undergraduates, right, and undergraduates who are really passionate on doing something, right? So we wanted to catch this wave, and we wanted to direct it in the right manner. So we team up with the students, our batchmates and the juniors and the seniors who has the similar set of mindset. Right? So with them, we were able to create an informal society in the university, right? So we did this work without thinking about what will happen, right? Because our purpose was very pure, right? So we wanted to change this culture and build a good culture that drives the entire university system of this country to a greater height, right? Because we saw this 4-year period, right, in the university is the best period that we can have in our life, right? Because during that period, no one is questioning us about what we do, right? So we can do anything, right? So usually what you do is you do some sports, fall in love, right? Or you play with your friends, right? You go trips. So those are things we basically do as any human. But if we can add a purpose to this 4-year period, or if we can add a purpose to our young life during this period, so that will be a great thing to do, right? So this is what we did during that period. So we formed that society and we managed to link with the industry. We managed to invite the industry leaders to the university to have a coffee table discussion with us. So we started that culture and we started breaking that barrier between the university and the industry. Then the batchmates we worked with, they didn't have any worry about the situation of the industry. They already knew how the top management is thinking. So this is how we managed to build that culture. So we wanted to build our university student as like menial kind of a culture, right? We build things, yeah, active individuals, right? So I think you must know this cartoon, right? So there we have something to get, right? So we know the people, right? So these minions, they are always willing to do something great, right? They're making mistakes and trying new things and come up with a greater product, right? So that's the innovative culture we wanted to drive in the university. But to drive such a culture, the passion was not enough and the dream was not enough. So we wanted to have a proper system. So that is why we wanted to form the entrepreneurship society there and have a formal governing body to govern this, right? And with that, so we are able to raise funds, spend, right? Conduct events. So all that are possible when we have that formal setup. I think we should thank Vishaka Madam and Dilika Madam and also Professor Anand for supporting us at that time. So they really understood the value of the work that we are doing, and they supported us a lot to set up the whole framework. And with that, we were able to bring a lot of strength to the society. And later on, Zaheminda Javira came and boosted, and Dr. Nishant Nanakar came. So likewise, there were so many individuals. I can have a list of them, right? So they came and added a lot of value. And also I must remind all the presidents in the Entrepreneurship Society from the inception. So they all managed to drive the society to a new level because they all are from an entrepreneurial background. They all managed to set up at least one company under their name, right? All of our president and the society members, they were at least a founder or at least a director or a co-founder of a company. So this is how we managed to drive that culture forward. And I hope in about 10 years down the line, they will become like industry tycoons, right? So this is how we create a culture and nurture that culture to drive our industry forward. So if things goes really, really well, right? I think one of these people, right? They will make a brand in the world, right? So that is the final like goal we want to achieve, right? This is why we are spending this good time with you and share this vision, right? Because if we have a proper vision, then we can align our dreams, with that vision, right? So if we all are dreaming the same thing, then we generate a big power, right? So this is what I achieved as an individual, right? During the last 6-7 years, right? After I graduated from the university, I directly went to the startup industry, and I didn't work anywhere, right? Because as an undergraduate, I managed to set up my company, and with my batchmates, they are my co-founders. They were the, your batchmates. If you find the right co-founders, they are the real strength for you, right? Because they understand the right strengths and the weaknesses and everything they understand. So then we can, form a really good team, right, to achieve the individual goals we want to achieve, right? So last year, I became the best CEO of the year, and year before that, so I became emerging IC leader of the year. So apart from that, our company became the best startup of the year in 3 consecutive years. So likewise, so there are so many achievements we managed to create during this period, right? And also globally, right? We managed to have that global focus from day one, right? But we wanted to have a really good product and really good setup in Sri Lanka. So at the beginning, so we invested in that, and there onwards we managed to focus on the top level markets in the world. So for an example, a lot of people think that we cannot do technology level competitions with Japan, but as a company, we always think there is a possibility, right? If we have the right passion, there is a possibility. So we believe that, and we managed to get a really good attention and even the government support from the Japanese government. So that's the kind of potential we have if we find right set of startups in our university, because all the resources are coming from the Sri Lankan university system. We all have that potential. Only thing is, we should have a proper program to direct us to the right way, right direction. So this is why we have Mora Ventures. So in the Mora Venture program, right? So if you are a startup, if you already have a startup, you will get a chance to polish your governance and structure your company properly and go for the fundraising and the commercialization, the expansion. So let's say if you are a good professional, or if you are an industry expert, right? If you want to have a profile like that, or that kind of a go-getter, right? So then again, the platform, Mora Ventures, gives you the access to the right people, right companies, right? To properly network, so that you can connect with the right individuals, right? Because if you connect with the right individuals, then only they will understand your potential, right? That is very important. So I think as young people, you still don't know the bad side of those experience, but make sure if you do something like that, you have to identify the right people, right? So this is a very common thing, right? How to drive a mission, right? There are situations, right? If the boss is not a part of your journey, right? So then you are ending up with a disaster, because at the end, right, you all feel that you haven't achieved you haven't achieved anything, right? But if you work as a team, right? If you're a team leader who has the potential to lead and get the best out from everyone, right? So then a group, so all individuals will achieve something, right? So this is why the leadership skills are important in the journey of entrepreneurship, not only to the founder. So everyone in the company should have some sort of leadership skill to drive the departments, right? And with that, so I'll highlight a couple of things. Now, I said either entrepreneurs or the industry professionals, right? So both can have these kind of like qualities in your life, right? To shape your life better, right? So I'll start with this, the tagline, right? Let the passion be your profession. Now, this was the tagline we used at the beginning of our company, because we all wanted our co-founders and the people who are working with us to get their maximum strength to the organization. In order to do that, we want to understand what is their actual desire, right? And what they really want, why they are living in the world, right? Why we exist. So if you talk to yourself, right? So the most important thing is to understand your real passion. So if you understand your real passion, then only you understand why you are living in this world, right? So in that case, right, when you find the passion, if you are working in an organization that aligns with your passion, that means you are not working, you are living, right? So this is what we should think, right? So when you have something like this, right? So you don't feel that, every day morning when you wake up, you don't have to think that you are going to a company, right? That is doing like 8 to 5 work, right? It's not that, right? You automatically get up and you go to the company because that is where you feel comfortable and you feel like you are living, right? So this is what the passion can deliver to you. So make sure you align, whatever the startup you are going to form, right, during this journey, right, or whatever the way you are going to structure your career, make sure you find your passion and then get these characteristics into your career, right? Make sure you are open to the changes, right? Because we are in the global market, right? Even though we focus the local market, so we are affected by the various factors of the global market. So therefore, you have to keep your eye open for the global changes. Whatever the way it is happening, you have to have the open mind. And then the curiosity, right? And be observant, right? So then that absorption power will give you the power to understand the problems. Like I said, at the very beginning, these people like this Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, so they understood the modern day problems really well. So if you look at the Tesla, last 5 years, Tesla valuations were skyrocketed, right? So that's how they identified the problem and the global potential. So with that, right, they were able to create billion-dollar industries. So this is how the curiosity and that curiosity skill gives you the returns, right? And then the take risks, be innovative, think and act quickly. So this is a typical characteristic of an innovator, right? Have that characteristics in your life, right? And then a team player, right? There's nothing in this world you can do, right? Individual, right? You might think you can do, right? You think, you are the person who has capabilities, but there is a point that you cannot go beyond, right? At that point, you need a team. So if you find the right team, right, then you have a better, better chance of winning, right? So it is a must that you should become a team player, right? And respect others in the team, right? And get the maximum, out from these people to your team. So it is very important leadership skill. You must master that. So, and I will tell you a tip there, right? So if I ask a question, so at let's assume that you are age 24 at the moment, right? So how many hours did you sleep during the last 24 years? Or how many, not hours, how many years? So at least you must have slept about 8 years of your life at the moment, right? 8 years. So that means you, you worked or you played only 16 years, right? So 1/3 of our life, right, is already gone, right? 1/3 of the time we always spend, right, for the resting, right? So in that case, so assume if someone is working only 8 hours per day, that means so we can have only 1/3 of the time, right, to work, right? That means as an individual, right, we can only work, we can only take this 1/3 of the time as the time that we can invest on something, right? So if you are an entrepreneur, right, you should think this time as your capital, right? Because if you do any activity, it takes some time, right? So if you have a team, that means your time is multiplied by the number of team members you have, right? So that means, right, you have a better chance of passing others and going to your goal, right? Now let's assume the companies like Facebook, they have about 100,000 employees, right? That means when Mark Zuckerberg is thinking something, right, he has 100,000 multiplier, right, to work for him, right? So that is the power of Facebook, right? That is the human capital he has. So this is how an entrepreneur should think, right? They should look at everything differently because an entrepreneur also has two eyes and he sees the same world, but he should think about those things in a different way, slightly different way, right? So this is, if you master this thinking, right, no one can stop you becoming a successful entrepreneur or successful profession, right? And then think big, have a bigger focus, right? Always try to think beyond the horizon, right? There's nothing wrong. If you are not confident about what you are thinking, don't tell it to anyone. But if you tell it to someone, at least your mom, dad, or your fiance, right? That means you are confident about what you are going to do, right? So try to speak about what you are thinking, right? Try to communicate what you are thinking. Then that becomes uh, you know potential for you, and that makes you achieve it because you know that others are also pushing and supporting you to achieve your dream. And also have this skill and become a go-getter. Don't say I tried, right, I couldn't get it done. There are situations, right, we are trying, we get a lot of challenges, but we master this skill, we will fight until the end and get it done. So that is how we organize the characteristics of a person, right? So if you have this, then you don't have to worry. If you master these things every day, right, you will automatically become different among your batchmates, right? And you will, in the industry, you will automatically become different and you will go up in the career ladder. So there is no doubt, right? So with that, I'll tell you few research projects that we do as an example about the level and the thinking we have, right? First, I'll share this product, which is branded as Gendo, right? So this is the first ever biomedical engineering innovation acquired the United States and Japan patent for Sri Lanka, right? So when it comes to Japan patent, right, this is the first ever Japan patent after Professor Ray Vijayawardana's tractor, right? First ever Japan patent for Sri Lanka in about like maybe more than 50 years time, right? So this is the power of dreaming, right? When I was dreaming this, right? When I was dreaming that we can achieve this kind of thing, right? I think I saw one of my batchmates also here in the audience. Pramodya, are you here? She was supporting me a lot during this work, right? So, I think she also can add. So anyway, so this is a almost impossible task at that time. I also didn't have any money to do this kind of thing, right? So without having money, dreaming something like this as an undergraduate person will make you laugh, right? Will make everyone, laugh at me, right? But I didn't care, right? So I wanted, to get this done, and I wanted to fight till the end, right? This is how I thought about it. And when I was thinking about it, many people said this was never done, right? So even say Colombo University, they have only one United States patent, so far, right? So likewise, only few US patents, and it cost a lot of money, right? And which I didn't have at that time. But I said, okay, with all those challenges, I'm going to get it done, right? And it took me about 6 years, right, to get it done. But finally, I managed to secure the US patents, right? While we have the competitors in Israel, right? And very recently, right, I saw a good incident. The clinical trial we published under this research was published in that Israel competitor's website, right? So which means our competitor also respected us and listed that in their website as well. Now, this is about thinking the world, right? Thinking about the global challenges, right? Now, cardiovascular diseases are a global challenge, no doubt. But to invent something new to detect cardiovascular diseases at the early stage is almost impossible task. But that's how we thought about those things, and we are in that journey of getting these things commercialized in all the countries in the world, right? But to do that, there is a new journey to go, and I'm in that journey, right? Now, let me share another AI example, right? So I think most of you are either learning AI or either using AI, right? Now you know what is the power of AI. Now this is about one of the projects we started about 6 years ago, right? So we started this AI project to detect diabetic retinopathy and eradicate diabetic retinopathy from the face of the earth, right? Because we believe if we have this kind of a technology to early detect diabetic retinopathy, then the diabetic retinopathy can be prevented from happening. At the moment, diabetic retinopathy is the #1 cause of blindness among adults, right? That means that 40% of all diabetic patients are having this risk of losing their vision due to diabetic retinopathy. Now, this is what we can do by applying the technology in a meaningful manner, right? So for this project, right, we managed to secure the funding from the Japanese government, because in Japan, they have a lot of the medical product manufacturers in the ophthalmology field. So they wanted to encourage this kind of a solution along with their technological products. So that's how we found the synergy, and we managed to get all those things done. Now, during last 3 years, we are doing clinical trials and we are doing awareness to set up this in the local setup. Now, the clinical trials are completed, because implementing a medical product is not as easy journey. It takes very long time, right? Usually it takes about 10 years, right? So I think uh, we are in that timeline, right? So that is part of this journey, right? So this is one of the latest innovation going to come. This is about controlling a drone from the brain waves, right? So we are going to give it as a game, right? To play it as a game to uh, to strengthen your concentration and your brain functions, right? So that is like a gym, right? For you to, I mean, currently you use a gym to do your physical exercises. So now we are going to give this new exercise to gamify your meditations and these exercises to do this enhancements of your uh, brain functions. Okay, then with that, I mean, like I have taken a lot of time, so I'm moving into the Q&A. So I hope you understood what we did and how we dreamed and how we achieved these things. And I think at the very beginning, you understood how we set up this Mora Ventures platform for you to, for you to structure, or you to come to a proper setup to drive yourself easily, right? So this is now with this, I'm going to conclude my presentation part. So now I'm open to the Q&A. Any questions? Come here. Any? Okay, there are few messages in the chat. Let me read. Okay. There's a question. What obstacle you faced when starting a startup, right? And what skill you have? I think the skill part I addressed, right? I think the slide I addressed. I think you can later go through the recording also. That part I addressed. About the obstacles, right? So when we are creating a startup, so there are multiple obstacles we are meeting, right? So one obstacle is to identify your market segment, right? To do that, we have to do a lot of exercises to understand which market will give you the highest value, right? We have to focus on that one, because if the market is not giving the expected value to our services or the product we are offering, right? And we should not be in that market, right? So we have to always look for the blue ocean strategies. So that is the best thing, right? So, and the other thing was you have to have now when you identify that market segment, you have to have a right team to deliver that expectation to that market. So when you have the right team, right, then it's a matter of engaging and continuing that relationship with the market. So as a startup, we got that. And also about the capital, right? So we have to look at the ways of financing our operations. So there we identified, okay, so we have had a software development branch to cater to commercial businesses. There also we identified, I mean, at that time, the digital transformation journey of companies is the key for us to tap in, right? That is where we can easily go and provide our services easily, because myself and my batchmates are from electronics and telecommunication engineering background, and also I specialize in biomedical engineering as well. So with that, we thought, why don't we think about a field that we can bring all these things together, right? So when we think about the digital transformation, it has everything and it matches with the background we have. Right? So we focused on that part. So and with that, so we managed to generate the capital requirement through the project revenues, right? So we managed to keep our approach as lean as possible and managed to drive our company forward. So that is how we face that challenge and managed to break that barrier, right? And volunteers in societies and clubs to make impact in our career. Is it better to start a startup with few friends? Yeah, I think those things I already answered. One thing I want to tell you. So actually emphasizing what I already said. During this undergraduate period, if you are an undergraduate, I don't know whether everyone is, because this is an open session. Therefore, undergraduates can be there, school children can be here, or the professionals can be here. So that's all right. But I'm telling in general. So if you find people who can volunteer with you, I think those are the best people, because they are coming with their passion. That's why they are coming. I mean, if you ask someone to come with you and doesn't, I mean, how can I say? So you ask someone to come with you without promising a return, right? And still that person is coming with you. So that means you should have him or her, right? Because the return you are giving is a bonus for that person. But he or she is not coming to that return, right? They are coming because they can become part of this and they have a passion, right? So those are the important people, right? And that is how you identify the right people. Okay. And if you have those kind of people, make sure you take them up in your organization, right? While you, even though the skill level is little low, manage to get them trained, manage to give them chances to learn and get them up in the operation, right? Okay, then the first question set is over. Second one. Okay, the other question is about the current opportunities available in Sri Lanka, right? I think at the moment, right, there are two things. Now everyone in the country, right, they are thinking about bringing foreign businesses and going to a different country and setting up. So these kind of things are a trend, right? But with that, right, a lot of industries are having some vacancies, right? So for a person to identify, let's say you are a software company, right? who are providing software solution for let's say a segment, maybe hospital industry, right? Or maybe the hospitality industry, right? So sometimes they were depending on some foreign software solutions. But with the dollar crisis and all, they started thinking twice, right? Because with the problems that arise, right? They wanted to go for local solution. That means you have a huge potential for the customers. Usually they are high-end customers because they were using foreign solution, not because those solutions are cheaper, because they wanted better efficiency and effectiveness from those solutions. So if you have some product, right, you can tap into that market. And also the people who are leaving this country, right, you can have them as agents, right? I think at least one person who's known to you might have left the country, right? So they may not be established at the moment, but in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the line, they are established. So it's a good opportunity, right? So keep that connection, right? So at one point, they also, I mean, going to another country and setting up, settling is not a journey like this, like going up and up. It has a ceiling. So once the ceiling is hit, they want to go up. To do that, they need additional resources from the home country. That is the best place they can come back. So this is what India did. About 20 years back, India is sending the individuals to United States. Now, almost all the big companies in United States are driven through Indians, right? So that is the power that they created over the last 20, 30-year period, right? So since we as Sri Lankan, we cannot expect these results from day or two, but let's keep an eye for 5 years or 10 years, right? And align things accordingly. So then we'll definitely capture that wave coming back, right? So it is happening. So that happened in China, that happened in India. So every time when you do something like that, it happens, right? So we have to be knowledgeable to understand those changes and those things that is going to come. I mean, as an entrepreneur, you have to think about the future opportunities also. And also you have to be very vigilant about those opportunities that is going to rise in the future. Okay. And then manage time in that, okay. So there's a question asking how I manage my time in the university time, right? So it's like this. I use everything as an opportunity during my university time. I'll tell you an example. So during my university time, right, there was a strike. There was about like 2 months of strike, 3 months strike from non-academics, and 3 months of strike from academics about this issue. So what I did was I spoke to the head of this department and got a pass to come to the university during that period with my dean, right? So the time that lost for the other people, right? Time that people are going for like other things, we invested, right, in the company goals and in the projects that we were doing. So that gave us a marginal, benefit. So this, I mean, when you are doing your university studies, it is about making the marginal decisions. So marginal decisions, if I explain, so what you get from the next next step, right? So sometimes there can be a situation where you might have to miss a lecture, but you can still cover that lecture, right? So, I mean, you don't have to doing that. You can speak to the lecturer and get some time and focus on the work you are doing and delivering that to uh, the the client or the person who's getting it. So the same thing I did in the university. So I always had a very close relationship with my lecturers, and I spoke to them about what we are doing as a team, and we managed to spend the time and taking the right marginal decisions to take the to drive our the company work to to the level that industry is expecting. That expectation, meeting that expectation was a key. So that is how we manage time in the university time. So if someone is saying you don't have time to do uh, a, a project or a startup in the university time, that means the person doesn't have a capability of managing the time. So there are enough and more opportunities you can align. Now there is another example. So we can align because every semester we have project time. Every semester we have academic projects, right? And also we have final year project. So every time when we had something, right? So we always allocated that time to a project that we were doing to a commercial work. Oh, sometimes those are voluntary work, not the even I say it as commercial. Sometimes those are work that was not giving us any monetary value, but it gave us a traction, right? For an example, with our department's help, we uh, we did a project to automate the vehicle management system in the finance ministry, which was done to a great level, and finance ministry people were very happy. But to do that, we had to go through everything, and we had to learn how the government processes works. So we had to sit with the audit department people a lot, and that gave us a lot. Lot of knowledge about how the system works in the government uh, organization, and how they evaluate people, how they monitor their progress. So everything was a lecture for us. So then we managed to gather that knowledge, and we managed to channel that knowledge into the right things. So that is how we did it. So I think another project we did like that in Sri Lanka Police. So that is also something that we did without thinking about any monetary values. So we thought about the level of experience we are getting and the wealth of knowledge we are getting through those projects. So still, so we closely work with Sri Lanka Police and these government organizations, because that knowledge is still with us, and we happily contribute to those organizations as a voluntary service uh, to to make their like process efficient. So this is how these kind of opportunities, these kind of marginal decisions can help you. So what we did was we aligned these kind of projects in our academic projects. I think none of the lecturers will stop you if you select some industry project into a academic project. I don't think they will stop you. They will be so happy, because if you do something and you throw it away after the project evaluation, so that is not something they also expecting. They want to see something really implemented. I think uh, that is the message we want to give through this platform. The people who are in the Mora Ventures platform should use their time effectively, right? Use all the resources, all the time you have to the purpose you are having. So then you can make use of all those, uh, chances to that goal. Okay, the next question. So how do we market our innovative things? Okay, so about the marketing. So there I think you know about 4 P's of marketing. I think you. So I'll talk about from the positioning part, and then how, I mean, that is very important to build your brand, right? So first, if you have a product, right? If you identified your market segment for that product, make sure you identify your first customer at the very beginning before you implement that or build that solution, right? Work with the first customer, right? Who's believing you, right? So that first customer is the king, right? So if you do that, if you give that story to the market, okay, I'm working with this person, and that is, I mean, that is the acceptance I got from the market, and make sure that customer is a reputed person in that market, right? Now, let me tell you an example. So when I built a digital transformation solution for the e-commerce industry, right? I'll tell you 2 examples actually. E-commerce industry, I wanted to onboard the companies who are in the market leading position. Say, because our product was not to display some products for them. It's just, I mean, it's to drive the whole ecosystem of that, say, ordering to the customer delivery. The entire process was digitized, right? To use that kind, I mean, that was a premium product, right? They have to buy it at a premium price, right? To make it positioned, marketed properly. So we wanted to onboard the market leaders. Now, in the fashion industry, we selected Odell, right? So with Odell, we managed to, I mean, for Odell, we gave some price discount because onboarding Odell gave us the leverage we wanted, right? Because their process is very standard, very much standard, and other people in the market always try to follow the market. So that is how we thought about this, right? So when we wanted to onboard the suites and all, we onboarded Canvas. So we had only 2 choices, either Canvas or Raspberry, right? So we choose Canvas. So likewise, now that product is the product that catering all these companies. Now, say when we wanted to onboard supermarkets, right? We onboarded Glowmark, right? So at that time, I think that at the very beginning of the COVID time, right? So all the others, the products were failing because they couldn't handle the traffic. I think ICTA has listed only our product, like on the Glowmark side, as the site that was fully up and running for 24/7. So that is that is where the customer got delighted that they bought a product that is worthwhile. So we have to have those kind of like edges, those kind of market situations to get the advantage in the competitive, because it's a competitive market. So when it comes to telecom sector, let me give another example. So we had a product to automate the fiber, fiber planning, implementation, and operation management. So this was a big problem in the telecommunication industry, right? So currently, the telecommunication companies in Sri Lanka Telecom, Dialog, they're working with 2 vendors. One is Huawei and other one is Nokia, right? So we got this problem while we were studying about the problems in the telecom industry. We saw the potential to do a digital transformation in this field. Then we designed our solution, how to have an AI system to automate the planning process so that the people don't have to go for the field visit and do the planning, right? We just do that planning from an AI, right? And automatically all the BOQs and everything is generated. So in technical terms, their high-level design part is completely done through the software. And then the project management process, the field work, because they have a problem of monitoring, right, these implementation. And if the implementation is not right, the contractors, they are having a big problem to collect money from the from these people, because they don't get the necessary acceptance on time, right? If their field work is not in the proper quality. And also they have to arrange a lot of field visits, and it's again costly. And then the fiber damages are coming in the field. So they want to understand how these fiber damages are coming and which lines are broken. So these kind of things are the biggest challenges. So what we did was we did a market survey, right, and identified that Huawei is a company that not so open, and then we teamed up with local companies to understand the problem, and then we identified that Nokia has opening, so we visit Nokia fiber section, visit to meet Nokia fiber section CTO, right, and convince convince him about the solution we are going to do, and then came back and implemented that product with Sri Lanka Telecom, right? So with that success, so because telecommunication industry is a monopolistic. No, not a monopolistic. It's an oligopoly market, right? It's an oligopoly market. Only few players are there, right? So we have to identify how we go to this market, right? So if you ask about marketing, right? So when you think about marketing, you have to first think about your internal stuffs and think about your pricing, promotioning, and placing, and positioning. And that is about your internal stuff. And then the market. Who are the target players? Are you giving it to a free market, or are you giving it to a monopolistic market, or are you giving it to a monopoly? Only one player, right? Let's say, for example, if you are doing a product to the CEB, right? Then you have only one player in one country, right? So according to the solution, right, or the product you are going to present, the solution is different, right? The way you are approaching is also different, right? Now this telecommunication solution, so when we have the market leader, right? So others are also open. In other countries also, they have different players. So one player is always, in the fiber market, not everyone is doing. Only one or two players are doing in that market. So we designed that product in that way, and we managed our pitch deck and everything so that we can achieve that. So I hope I answered your question, how we marketed our solution. And then I'll give you one more example about one pre-market solution we do. We have a fleet management system, a tracking system. Logistic companies are using. So to market that kind of a product, so we as a company, we don't have a marketing group or marketing team. So our strategy, we wanted to design a strategy for us to do the marketing. There we identified, okay, the product marketing is not going to do by ourselves, right? We as a company, we focus on R&D. That is where our strength, and we onboard a marketing agency or marketing channel partner to get us more business. So there we had discussions with few parties, and we onboarded, more than one party to get these businesses and implementations for us, right? There we allocated a commission for them, and they are happily doing it because they are also getting a return, right? Whenever they do more, they're getting a return. So that is how we organized it, because in a free market situation, our product is going to a competitive market with few differentiation. There are price differentiations, and also there are feature differentiation. So we managed to, but in that market, the marketing budgets are huge, right? Because we have to cut across all the channels to reach out to the customer. So that's why we decided our strategy as the marketing channels who already have the access to these people, right? And they'll go and pitch for us. So this is how we managed to organize ourselves. Okay. So please let me know if you have any other questions. Anyone has problems regarding Mora Ventures, the next milestones and what we are going to do? Yes, if you are in this, I think you also can add, Charmiga, you also can add your thoughts, because as organizers, I think you all can contribute, right? So I think what I wanted was to give the bigger picture to everyone, right? And then they all understand where are they heading through our Mora Ventures program. And one more thing I want to tell you now, this year, this is the project in cooking, so it's still not done. So this year I'm trying to bridge more national and international investors for our program, right? So I hope you will get a good chance to reach them and start a connection with those people, right? So that is, I think that will happen anyway. So my only worry is the time, right? So it takes some time, right? But if we have really good projects, right, during the process, we will be able to get them on board. So I'm hoping to do so. So that is something I wanted to share with you guys. So if you don't have any other questions, Yasas and Chamika and Jaini, shall we conclude the session, or from my side?
Yeah. The questions that all we have received is over, I think. So.
Okay. So, by the way, I think Professor Ansing also joined, right? Professor, are you here? Hello, Professor. Would you like to add some comments, sir? Okay, I think he's muted. Okay, so yeah, go ahead, Jenny. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Kirti Kurtuaku, for your very, very valuable session. And I think it was truly impressive, and your expertise, your knowledge on that subject, I would say the entrepreneurship and all the other things, are really, really important for our younger generation as who are willing to be future entrepreneurs. So we kindly invite you to accept our token of appreciation.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you guys. Looking forward to see you in Mora Ventures 6.0. Okay, let's make it a great event. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite Mr. Chamika Sudhusingha, who is a software engineer of WSO2 and one of the excellent personalities passed out from University of Moratuwa, to speak a little bit about Mora Ventures 6.0. It's over to you, Aya.
Hi, Jane, am I audible?
Yes, Aya, you're audible. Hello? Okay, I think Chamikaya is struggling with some kind of technical issues. So unfortunately, he would not be able to join us. We'll see. Okay, until then, I would like to invite Uvindu Kodikara, one of the co-chairpersons. Hello?
Hi, Nanki. I'm here. Apologies for the connection issue.
Okay, okay. You came back. Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
I
I actually now joined from the mobile. Actually, my laptop connection got, I think there's a connection issue. So, yeah.
Okay.
So this will be a very short discussion. Actually, won't be a long one because I just want to reiterate on about Mora Ventures and about what we have planned for like 2023. So first of all, I'd like to thank Vishaka Madam and Kirtaya for joining this session today and sharing their thoughts and experience. And of course, like Kirtaya taking time to answer a lot of questions from the participants. Thank you very much for joining the today's session. And next, I'd like to thank Professor Malik for joining the session today as well. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. And of course, the participants who have been here amidst having a long weekend, which is starting from tomorrow. So you've been here for almost 1.5 hours now. And thank you very much for being here. So with regard to Mora Ventures, actually, what I want to talk about is this is not just a regular entrepreneurship competition. This is a competition where we aspire to build entrepreneurs and where we want to train you to become entrepreneurs going forward. Because if I focus on the theme and our goals and vision in Mora Ventures, what we try to do is like build the next unicorns in Sri Lanka by 2023. 2030. So that's something that we have in our mind as our vision. And what we try to do is to strongly commit entrepreneurs to change how we pursue all the industries, not just electronics, telecommunications, or IT. So this is about all the industries. So Mora Ventures is not limited to the IT sector. So if you are coming from fashion designing, if you are coming from electronics, maybe manufacturing, whatever the area that you're coming from, you will be able to like be part of this competition and gain the expertise that you need to build a startup. So yeah, so that's the very basics of the competition. And going forward, what includes in this competition is about, of course, we have the Mora Ventures competition, which has open for registrations and currently. And then apart from that, we have this training program that we are doing for all the participants. So this training program covers the basics about what we should build and why, about business model canvas, about legal considerations, how to acquire customers and how to get funded, about financing and accounting, of course, the marketing aspect, costing and pricing strategies, security, and how to effectively pitch your idea. And likewise, we are having multiple sessions on board with the program where you will be trained to be better at becoming an entrepreneur. And apart from that, we are planning to have a few industry-based sessions and a few sessions on investments as well, about opportunities in IT, e-commerce, opportunities in emerging technologies. For example, if you consider about these days, Web3 is very interesting, where people are coming up with various innovative technologies. And of course, with regard to generative AI, so we are seeing many innovations are building on top of ChatGPT and other solutions as well. And finally, what I want to mention is that all the teams who are going to semifinals will be getting a mentor going forward. So you will be like mentored by the pioneers in entrepreneurship in Sri Lanka, where they'll be sharing their experiences and guide you to become a winner. And of course, as a competition and as an organizing committee, the committee is trying to partner up with all the national initiatives that are already there to make sure that you get the exposure to other competitions and other initiatives in the country. And we are trying to make sure that what we try to do here at Mora Ventures is aligned with all the other initiatives in Sri Lanka. So that's what I wanted to highlight here today. So we are like waiting for you all to apply, and I hope you all have inspiring ideas and innovative solutions to solve the currently existing problems and problems in the country as well as in the world as well. And maybe you are having an idea that would change the way that the world perceives our country as well. So you all are from different parts of the country, and not just from University of Moratuwa. Some of you might have been already graduated, and some of you might be in the very first year of the university, and some of you might have just finished schooling as well. So it doesn't matter where you start from, but we are going to guide you to become entrepreneurs and to get the skill set that you require. And I hope you all will have a pleasant journey being part of Mora Ventures 6.0. And if you have any questions, you can always reach the organizing committee, and they're there to help you. And finally, I'd like to thank the Entrepreneurship Society and the IEEE Student Branch of University of Moratuwa to taking this initiative and making it a success. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chamikaya, for your words. And even though you have some kind of technical issues, you joined and explained each and every point regarding the competition and the thing. So again, thank you so much, Aya, for valuable cooperation here. So now all you know what we are doing throughout Mora Ventures 6.0. So what you all have to do is you can just scan this QR code and can be a part of Mora Ventures 6.0. So this is a kind reminder for you all. Okay, so we have come to the end of our awareness session. So thank you so much everyone for participating here. And I want to leave you with this thought. It means the end of one chapter is just the beginning of another chapter. So let's look forward to what tomorrow brings and continue to learn, grow, and explore together. So say happy entrepreneurship journey for you all, and see you soon. Stay safe. Thank you. Have a nice day.